even today, the WAN is a little mysterious to me because we don't configure it that often. So let's take a look at this first lab here. What I did find out that we cannot configure MPLS in Packet Tracer. So we'll have to try to do it in a real lab. We may be limited with our routers also. So what we're going to do here is look at our WAN protocol. So I'll pull the configs up. So the first thing, it's running OSPF. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is a interior gateway versus an exterior gateway. So if you just remember, exterior is for ISPs. That's a good way to remember it. We don't really configure very often. You have basically one router and you'll configure it on one or two interfaces and then it's running. Your interior gateway protocol is generally, it is your organization. Your users at the campus, your remote users, your remote branches, all those things will tie in with our own routing protocol. In a little preview, here's our routing OSPF 10. We're sharing our directly connected networks or loopbacks. This is probably a loopback, looking at the subnet mask 0000. And once again, sharing routes. So this is our interior gateway protocol. So if we go down here, we look at R1, and this is what we would configure. MPLS label, protocol, LDP. And then your MPLS label range, 2030. But I just want to remember advertisers with the LSAs and OSPF. So your 2030 range, look how it in R2 it goes 6090, and they're going to the interfaces and turning on the MPLS IP. And here's R3, and notice that they're changing those ranges every time, and also down here. So those are little subtles that if we wanted to break it, what could we do? Could we change the protocol here? There's two choices. Not do the force loop back. We could change the loop back and maybe break it, and not even turn these on here. If we look at the protocol running, we'll go to simulation mode here. And we'll see the traffic spanning tree running. Let's filter that out. Turn off STP. So under your edits, you can do that. And now we're seeing OSPF. So if we look here, there's your OSPF with your hello. Let's see if we can find the encapsulation. So you really can't see anything being encapsulated here because of the WAN. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's the kind of the mysterious. We're not running MPLS because it doesn't run this. So we can't see the protocol running. All we can do is see OSPF. So our second example here is, let's get it open, going to be frame relay. And then I have all the configs over here, but I want to focus on just two routers. So first thing we're going to look at is this device up here. It's a frame relay cloud. And so this is what you would be connected to at the central office for the ISP company. So they would give you, that's the device we'd be connected to in their location. So here are our three routers for our organization, R1, R2, and R3. And we have 4 WAN areas, and then you have these LAN areas off each. And so let's take a look here. I'm going to focus on R3 and R2. So I have both configs up. So once again, we can look at the regular routing protocol. So now we're running eigrp. That's the interior gateway. And if we look at the interface, frame relay would be the WAN protocol. So this redistribute static is kind of like you put a static route in one router and it distributes through the routing protocol and the updates. No auto summary, which will kill your subnetting if you have a lot of subnetting, which most of us do. And then here's our NAT and PAT we just talked about and we configured. So let's focus in on these two routers and how they're connected. So R2 is connected to, so we got to find the IP. It's 172.1.6. So this one right here. 172.30.1. So that's how they're connected. Notice that they're running. That's as soon as you turn on encapsulation PPP, you're actually disabling the default encapsulation called HDLC. And we'll look at that real quick. In the normal router, we've been running WAN protocol. We just don't configure it. It's automatically set by default HDLC. And so if we see this, we're authenticating. We also have our NAT inside. If we look over here, there's the IP I was looking for. .1 and .2 is on the 0 network, and this is on the .4 network. So 6, that's what we want down here. Notice they're both encapsulating, so turn that off, you break it. If you don't do authentication CHAP, there's two choices, PAP and CHAP, but that's just things that you would know about if you configure Frame Relay. And then here's your routing protocol. So there's your interior gateway, and then here's your exterior. So let's take a look in real time here. So here's your eigrp. And if we look at it, nothing at layer 2. CDP, there's your frame relay. So there's your frame relay CDP. It's using a WAN protocol there. So it's actually, so what we're doing here is we have to encapsulate the information to what the WAN is expecting. So if in your home, we run, I'm using Spectrum, so I'm connected through a coaxial to the telephone pole. So my modem, my wireless router and modem that connects to Time Warner has to have a configuration on it. And if I break that configuration, it breaks the WAN. So once again, you can see information. There's your adjacency with eigrp. Cisco should be the password. Cisco and class were my old passwords. So show run. So once again, we got a lot of configure in here. We got dhcp running. Is that going to be for the WAN or the LAN? 172. And then we got to find, there it is. That's the interface that we're focused on for the encapsulation. So if we debug, question mark, frame relay, so when I turn on the debugging, it's actually supposed to show the conversations in real time, what's going on with frame relay. So let's break something and see if we get a message. So let's break a WAN link on R3 here. We do get an automatic message there, interface down. So if we bring it back up, let's go in simulation mode and bring it back up. Fast forward the time here, hit play. So we run right back into the operation with eigrp. Once again, you're running your eigrp protocol. So what we're going to do in class is configure frame relay on a smaller scale. So we won't configure many things, but we'll just configure frame relay. And if we configure the MPLS, we'll try to do that in class. So the WAN is not so much a mystery because you need some type of a device that is encapsulating according to the protocol. And if we go back into when it hits frame relay, so PPP encapsulation, so we're turning point to point on, and then we're also using authentication CHAP. So what happens is we're actually authenticating our routing protocol with a password and username. And if we go up here, we can see the username and password, and it's actually defining. So we're in R3, but you're defining the opposite router, username and password, like a pre-share. So what we'll do in class is configure frame relay, and we'll be able to see that run, and we'll also be able to see if we can Wireshark it to prove the theory, and then we'll see different ways to break it. So that concludes our demonstration on the frame relay, MPLS, and the WAN protocol.